Hey, welcome to the spot where I often pray. I'm sitting here on this little couch, and this is the spot I come to a lot of mornings when I just want to be by myself and talk with God. I think so many of us in our lives, maybe once, maybe hundreds of thousands of times, have tried to talk to the God that we think might be out there. Many of us have also walked away from those kinds of moments wondering, how come my prayers never work? Prayer for me is a time where I get to come to God and I get to be myself. Whatever I'm dealing with in my life, I'm trying to be honest enough and open enough to deal with that thing with God. And that's kind of what prayer is for me. It's a time where I get to connect with Him. And honestly, sometimes I feel like I am connecting, and sometimes I feel like my prayers bounce off the ceiling and fall right back down to the floor. But every single time I pray, I think that He hears me. And that this is the way that the Bible tells us He's given us to connect with Him in relationship. That's something Christians love to say, that we have relationship with God. And I know that some people might roll their eyes at that and go, what does that mean? Well, prayer is like the lifeblood of that relationship. It's like the time and the space where we get to talk like I would talk to somebody else in my life that I wanted to know what was in my heart and what was going on with me. And then I would listen to them and what they said back to me. And that's kind of how prayer works for me. But what happens when I sit here on this couch like I have so many times, and I pray for stuff like I have so many times, and I don't get an answer? Not only do I not get an answer then, I might be a year down the line and still no answer. What about then? The New Testament has many, many examples of this all throughout its pages. Maybe 8 or 10 different places I can think of off the top of my head where we're told to be persistent in prayer. Not just persistent, almost to the point of annoyance. Jesus tells a parable about a woman who bothers a judge for an answer. And his point is we should continue to persist and almost to bother God with our requests. He wants us to come after Him. So I've had people ask, when do you know when to stop praying for something? And I would say, I see no instances in the New Testament of the Bible where we are instructed to stop asking God for things. We're actually commanded to do the opposite. But there is a place in James chapter 4, if you want to look up that chapter and kind of read about it. One of the things I always ask myself when I'm not getting an answer to a prayer is there a stumbling block? Like, is there something in my way? Am I asking with a bad motive? James says, am I asking so that I can spend what I get on myself? You know, sometimes we do that. We come to God with our list of things that we just want. Well, that's maybe not quite how God works. He's not a giant Santa Claus, but He does care what we want. Even just a couple weeks ago, one of my sons asked, Mom, do you think that I could pray that God would make me taller? And I thought, I don't see why not. I don't see why you wouldn't ask for that. If that's what you want and it's connected to something you think He's putting in your life, why not? Why not ask Him to be taller? I'll pray with you. There's so many things that just aren't clear. Are these good things or bad things? And I say, you know what? If you have a continual desire to pray for that thing and it won't leave you and your heart is good around it, and a year later you still don't have an answer, the best counsel of the Bible is keep going. Keep going. There's something I've been praying for I would say 2 to 3 years, and I am not giving up. And if you're there with me, I would say, Jesus and many of the writers in the Bible, the instruction they give to us is don't stop. Don't stop. Be persistent. Use that connection that we have with God, and don't stop asking, because I think He wants to know what we want. And we're in a relationship, a friendship, just like anything else. So I just keep talking to Him, keep asking, and I would encourage you to do the same.